Hello, everybody. Hey, so it's coming at you on the 9th of April. This is SITREP number 30. Can you believe that? Number 30? Man, where's the time gone? It's craziness. Anyway, so it's going to be kind of a quick one. I'm not going to, I'm not going to bore you with all cancer crap today. I got something kind of cool to share with you guys. But first, the boring cancer crap. So, yeah, the VA came through. They contacted the original hospital that I had when this whole thing started with Dr. P, and I told them I'll go back there, but I don't want Dr. P. So they said, "Yep, Dr. C is the one we usually deal with. She's really cool. So we're gonna try for that." So who do you think calls me? The scheduler trying to schedule me for Dr. P. So I informed her that no, I'm not getting scheduled for Dr. P. I want Dr. Christensen. And she's like, well, I have to get with management, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, again, this is my stadium, so it's either Dr. C or I'm going to another hospital. So lo and behold, my nurse navigator called me yesterday, and she's like, yep, I think I can work this. And lo and behold, today, the scheduler called me, and I have an appointment with Dr. C on Monday at 1 o'clock. So once again, we prevail. Skadoosh. Anyway, so that's that. And I don't know, I asked the scheduler what the plan was, and she didn't know. So I asked, am I doing a biopsy? Are we just like going to swap spit? What's going on? I don't know. So I assume it's going to be a biopsy. The VA was kind of pushing to get this done pretty quickly for obvious reasons. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. So I'll keep you posted. I know I haven't posted in a while, so I was thinking about waiting until Monday to do this, just to give you, more solid information. But I haven't posted in a while, so what the heck? There it is. So on a cooler note, so this is an old T-shirt I have, right? See it? Discovery Channel, Gold Rush, Alaska, and so let me tell you the background behind this shirt. So way back in 2014, I just come off a deployment in late 2013, and so I was I made up my mind I'm going to retire. So January of 2014, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? No idea. So I don't know how. I'm not sure if this is why, but somehow I ended up on Craigslist, and so one of the things that I found there is this posting on Craigslist in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area where I found it, and the title is "The Makers of Gold Rush Are Looking for Gold Miners." I'm like, on Craigslist, that's where you're looking for gold miners. Okay. So for the heck of it, I pinged this posting. And what I got back was this auto reply, and it's this. I'll read it to you. It's right here. It's pretty quick. But it says, hello, thank you for your email. This is an auto response. Please make sure you provided the following information. You may receive this email more than once, so please ignore if you've already received it. Please make sure we know your location, time zone, and the earliest time we can call you in the morning. Excuse me. And then it says, the makers of Gold Rush on the Discovery Channel looking for gold miners. Do you think you have what it takes to operate heavy equipment, fix mechanical breakdowns, and find gold? Or do you know somebody who does? Please apply if you have 2 years previous mining experience, preferably gold, or have at least 2 years employment operating heavy equipment such as loaders, excavators, and dozers. So I don't have experience with those, but I have experience with tanks. So I'm like, hey, what the heck? We'll give it a shot. Or are a heavy equipment mechanic. So being a tank crewman, you're kind of a half-ass mechanic sort. I mean, you're in services every quarter. You're pulling the power pack, which is the engine and transmission out. You're helping the mechanics fix stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be fixed on a tank, so you have to be kind of handy. But anyway, so it says please apply if you have all that, and then please email the following information to miners@raw.co.uk, and it's name, date of birth, all this personal information. So I responded back to this, and I'm like, hey, Oh, it says thanks. Gemma and Rebecca, Raw TV, producers of Gold Rush. So I emailed back and I said, hey, look, I don't know who you people are. I'm not sending y'all information. I need to verify who you are. So they sent me back an email of this guy's name. You know, he was a casting guy, whatever. Anyway, it all flushed out. I mean, I was kind of impressed. I'm like, holy crap. So I sent him in my resume. And they sent me back a text saying, hey, we'd like to get a video of you in action doing, you know, what you do. So I sent them an email. Just so happened one of my units was at gunnery. So I was in uniform, but I videoed myself. Part of the video was me on a tank range. So I'm walking around, I'm in front of tanks and stuff, and talking to crewmen, and they're firing. And you know, at night I was kind of walking, I was ground guiding a tank, kind of like this. And yeah, it just close-ups of tanks and stuff like that. So anyway, they emailed me back and they're like, hey, you know, your video really stood out. We want to talk to you. So I made it to the next. I actually made it to the second interview, and you know, like we want to schedule interviews. So right when that happened, I went online and I ordered this T-shirt because I heard the third interview was an actual like a Skype chat, right? So I ordered a shirt, and we had the phone interview. And one of the things that they really, so this I was applying to be a heavy equipment operator on Parker Snobel's crew on Gold Rush on this TV show. I don't know if you know that show, if you know Parker, but Parker's a young guy. At the time, I think he was only like 18 or 19, and you know, here he is pushing this crew. They're pushing pretty hard. They're up in the Klondike in Alaska, mining for gold. Pretty big operation for a young guy. He's dealing with all, you know, grown men, and I was kind of a big fan of the show. And one of the things I noticed and I kind of didn't like was, you know, a lot of the guys that were on his crew, you know, they're obviously older guys, and some of them didn't really give him the respect, give him his due. You know, I mean, he was the boss. I mean, I don't care if he's 13 years old unless he's being a complete clown, but you got to respect the fact that he's in charge, right? So anyway, during my interview, my phone interview with, I think it was Rebecca, it might have been Gemma, but I kind of said, yeah. They were like, what do you think about Parker in the show? And I said, you know, it kind of seems to me that, you know, I would probably end up being like a father figure, I would think, and kind of standing up for Parker if or and when needed, because he's such a young guy and it seems like he gets pushed around. And they honed right in on that. They're like, what do you mean you'd stand up for him? How would you stand up for him? What, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, I just kind of threw that out there. Like, that's just my impression. I don't know if that's the way it would be, but so anyway, so shortly after that, I get an email saying, hey, you know, we're going to make a decision pretty soon. We'll get with you in the next couple days. And I was like, hopefully, you know, I'll make it to the Skype portion of the interview process, but hopefully that won't happen until after I get my Gold Rush shirt in the mail. And then, so that was the last I heard of them. And a couple days after that, I'm like, the last thing they said was, we'll get with you tomorrow. We're going to make a decision tonight whether you made it to the next step. So, you know, the next event that I show, at least on my email trail, I have my emails from 2014. How weird is that? But anyway, it was 2 days after the phone interview, and I was like, hey, you know, the next day is come and gone. I hope you guys still you know, considering me for the show and stuff. And then I never heard from him again. So just to research it a little bit for this video, for the heck of it, I looked up Gemma and Rebecca. And as it turns out, so Gemma is Gemma Gibbs. She still works for Raw TV, and she is currently the head of casting for Raw TV. So she did pretty well for herself. And Rebecca is Rebecca Chambers, and she's a producer at a company called Small Films. So we have the head of casting and a, a, a movie producer or a film producer. Imagine that. Um, so yeah, that's so. So another little snippet is I researched the crew from the 2014 season, which was season 5, and it looks like they only hired on 2 new people. One of them was like the camp gopher that ran around fueling stuff up and making meals and just doing odds and ends, right? But this other guy was a heavy equipment operator. His name was Jeremy LeBlanc or Jeremy LeBlanc, and so this guy uh, apparently, I think it's in the season premiere. It was a 2-hour premiere that year or that season. Jeremy was the first day he was getting trained, so they were training him to drive a rock truck, which is kind of what I figured I'd do. It's a big dump truck, is essentially all it is, and you go from where they're stripping the dirt and dumping the dirt into the rock truck, and the rock truck takes that dirt and brings it to the wash plant and dumps it in a big pile, and the loader picks up dirt from the pile and puts it through the wash plant to get washed, and then it separates the stone and the dirt from the gold. But anyway, this guy Jeremy on the first day got the rock truck stuck a bunch of times, and then apparently after work or later on that day, he got his own privately owned vehicle, his SUV, stuck in the river, and apparently it got swamped out. So, and according to the fandom, the Gold Rush fandom website, Jeremy ended up walking back into town. I can't remember the name of the town, that night, and he quit. So this guy that potentially took my place on this show, where they hired instead of me, lasted 1 freaking day. You believe that? Can you believe that, people? Of all things. So, and the last thing I'm going to say about this whole Gold Rush thing is, you know, if you look at, so here you got a young guy, and he learned how to mine from his grandpa. He actually, season 5, they went back to Scribner Creek, which is where his grandpa actually, you know, started or finished mining. It was his personal, you know, he owned the mine, he owned the land. But, you know, he didn't, here you have this company, Raw TV, that's hiring the people for his crew. So here you have a gold miner that knows nothing but gold mining, and he doesn't even have control of the people that are getting hired to operate his equipment and stuff. How weird is that? Like, you know, so I guess the bottom line is, the learning lesson is, you kind of, when you agree to do a reality TV show like that, you're kind of selling your soul, man. I mean, you don't even have control over who you hire, and I mean, it just seems to me to be kind of, I don't know. Anyway, so there's a little side of me that a lot of people don't know anything about. I was ready to go to the Klondike, and I think one last note too. Looking back through the email trail, I don't see where Gemma or Rebecca asked about it, but apparently they also keyed in on the fact that I was still in the Army, because one of my responses to them was that I had checked with my people, and they said that I didn't have to. I must have told them I had to be present to sign out from the Army. I think that was my DA-31, my leave form to officially go on terminal or retirement leave, or whatever they call it. Your final span of leave when you leave the Army. Apparently somebody had told me that I didn't have to be present for that, but and that was a requirement, because I had to be up in the Klondike from May through, and I think it was August or September, which is where they mine and the filming period. So I had to be on location the whole time. But one of my emails back to them said, yeah, my guys here in Pennsylvania told me that I didn't have to be present. But I'm looking back at my experience of signing out of the Army at Fort Meade. I absolutely had to be present. But I have a funny feeling that had something to do with the fact that I wasn't brought on board for the show. But so that's it on Gold Rush. I didn't make it. I ended up moving to Florida, and even though I still get to work around tanks, so that's kind of cool. But, and last but not least for this episode, of my life. I just want to show you this. So I'm looking all scrubby, right? This right here, you can see my beard. It's a little patchy, but it's all grown in, right? Look at this one. See that? So my tonsil, my cancer was right here. So you can see, burn the radiation. You don't let stuff grow. It's like the Chernobyl of my face. Yeah, Chernobyl. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. I hope everybody is, you know, making it through this crazy lockdown well enough, and you're keeping yourself gainfully employed. I know my sister, one of my sisters, is actually making the masks that now all of a sudden they want everybody to wear. So I have been working from home and playing PlayStation 4, a new game that I ran into called, what is it? War Thunder. It's a tank game, and it's cool because tanks are cool. Anyway, all right. Peace, my people. Take care. We'll talk to you soon, all right? I'll drop you another video next week. Let you know what's up with the biopsy and all that crizap. All right? Hazy Wayne. Hey, I know who you are now, my nephew. Sorry about that, brother. I love you, man. Talk to you guys soon, all right? Bye.